What was the adjustment like going to Pittsburgh? What was that adjustment like from the high school level to the collegiate level?
It was hard, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was, because I think me coming from this situation, or not this situation, but my high school situation, I thought I was working hard, but when you get to that first college practice, and coach is like, man, we doing this, and I was just like, this is nuts. So for me, it was the conditioning piece. Like, I didn't understand that I couldn't take days off. So like, if I'm waking up and I'm like, I ain't working out today, I'm taking like 2 steps back.
Lose some of your win.
And then there's somebody doing 2 a days. Mm-hmm. So now we talking about 4. They 4 steps ahead of me, right? You know what I mean? So by the time I got there, I was like, I'm gonna chill for the summer. I'm gonna celebrate a little bit. I'm going to Pitt. Man, listen, that first college practice, that it hit me, man. And
y'all had summer sessions and all that back then as well, or?
So what I did was I went up there early to work out and to just to lift, and I didn't take any classes, but I just went to kind of work out, play pickup with the guys and all that, and then I came back home for like the last portion of the summer in August before school started. So I was up there probably like a month and a half. So I was getting acclimated to everything, but back then the coaches weren't really doing anything. Yeah. They were just like, go ahead, do play, work out, So that's why I said when I hit that first practice, it was like, whoa. So I was working out with the guys, getting stronger, playing and stuff like that. But, even some of them, I remember they were like, wait till that first practice, man. So, but it was hard, man. It was hard. And I think the thing about it for me was I'm an offensive guy, right? And I'm learning how to play defense, but I'm not necessarily a defensive stopper. So, my coach back then, Ralph Willard, who's Kevin Willard, who's at Maryland, his dad.
Pops.
And Kev was actually on the team with us, back then. But he was like, he's got an Army background, so he was just like extra, like, so it was, he was hard, man.
And the extras were allowed in the 90s.
Yeah. No, I don't even want to say some of the stories on here, right? But so if we weren't doing the right things, man, he let us know. And if you weren't in shape, if you didn't, play. And back then, obviously Big East is #1 conference in the country.
Right.
If you didn't play defense for him, you weren't gonna play. So, my freshman year I struggled, and between my freshman and sophomore year, they said, for you to play more, you're gonna have to, improve your lateral quickness, side to side, and then your foot speed has to get quicker. So I can just remember coming home after my freshman year and guys being like, yo, what happened? And that just like
crushed you.
That blew my mind, man. I couldn't.
Was there any element? It was a 2-part question.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any element of frustration during the season? Because you're a guy coming out of high school, multiple high majors, national acclaim, champion, all of that stuff, and I believe I looked it up, it says 7.4 minutes as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So me dealing with kids, I get the phone calls when I ain't playing, I ain't expect this, What was the how did you feel going through that? And then my second question is, what would you suggest to a 19, 18-year-old kid coming up now that the reality is, I believe I looked up the stats, like 80 freshmen play 20 minutes a game or more in the country. That's it. So
that's crazy.
The other multiple hundred of freshmen, you're below 20 minutes, really below 15 minutes, but you used to playing 30 minutes where you came from.
Right.
So what would you suggest to the youngins coming up on how to deal with that?
No, I think it was super frustrating for me, and I can remember calling home on multiple occasions, like, I gotta go, I gotta get out of here, right? And it's a different time, right? I think now, obviously we're dealing with the transfer portal and NIL stuff, right? But I think back then, I had one high school, I played one AAU team, so I've always been kind of loyal in that regard. So you know, I flirted with the transferring, you know, idea, but I could remember my godfather and my mother telling me, like, yo, if you stick this through and you do what they tell you to do, you know, or at least try it one more year. Just do what they tell you to do and see what happens. And you know, that's what I did, and I think that worked to my benefit. But I didn't necessarily make the jump to another school off the top just because, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to prove people wrong. Like I said, when I came home and guys were like, yo, what happened? Mm-hmm. I'm like, when I transfer, I'm running away from stuff. Like I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm taking the easy way out. Yeah. So, you know, what do I transfer down? Do I go to a lower level? What is that going to, you know? So it was just in my mind, let me do something that I'm going to be proud of, right? You know, and I mean, and all I could say to a kid now, and, you know, I talk to, you know, coaching, you know, I talk to a lot of guys and a lot of kids now, but I think you have to be mentally strong. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think that's lacking in the basketball world now, because once again we make it easy, right? If I don't play, I'm a transfer. If I don't play at the school I transferred to, I'm a transfer again. Like it just you know, you get like a free pass or easy way out. You know what I mean? So I must say stick with it, because at the end of the day, and I was just telling somebody this today, I talk more about life to my players than basketball. So all right, we giving up on basketball. Imagine what you're gonna do when you get 30 years old and something happens, some adversity. Like you're gonna, you know, God forbid, right? You're gonna do something that's not cool. So stick with it, see what happens. If it doesn't work, then we try to adjust. We make adjustments, but we're not gonna quit.
No,
you know.
sure.
And I tell my daughter the same thing. We make adjustments, but we don't quit. So I could just tell a kid now, just stick with it and work on your game. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a reason maybe you're not playing more than 20 minutes. There's a reason for that, right? And if you want to play more than 20 minutes, maybe you should be the best conditioned guy on the court. You know, maybe you should win your matchup in practice every day. You know what I'm saying? Because if a coach is seeing certain things, I mean, he recruited you here. It can't be, you know, more personal than it is, you know, basketball, right? So, you know, and sometimes it's the other way around. Don't get me wrong, but I think you have to look at yourself first. You know, so if you're doing the right things on the court, then you know what I'm saying, that will speak volumes. That will speak for itself.